to stay. I'm here to stay.
Four-star Charlton dominated Morecambe on Tuesday night, and Dean Holden will certainly be hoping that we can build on that momentum, not just of that 4-1 win, but also the recent contract signings, including his own. We are on the road again today, but the journey is shorter this time as the Addicts travel to the Abbey Stadium to take on Cambridge United. Mark Bonner's side sits second bottom in Sky Bet League One and haven't won since beating Oxford a month ago. Dean Holden's team will be raring to go, and the Addicts will be backed by a sold-out away end with nearly 1,500 tickets sold. Lots to come ahead of kick-off here on Charlton TV, so please make sure you get your match pass now. We'll hear exclusively from manager Dean Holden, who spoke to Greg Stubley on his arrival at the Abbey Stadium earlier. We'll see what happened when a couple of Charlton Upbeats visited training ahead of the popular Upbeats walk, sponsored by DNEL next month. And we'll also be hearing from Ashley Maynard-Brewer, who signed a 3-year contract extension with the Addicts just last week. Well, Judith Chalmers, Curbs is away on another holiday again, so delighted to say filling in for him is Kev Lisbie. Kev, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good to be back. Good to be covering Curbs again, so it's good to be here.
It's not bad being a substitute to Curbs.
No, I've been a sub plenty of times at this place.
Now, a little birdie tells me that when you were told you were filling in for him, which means you got to be alongside Brownlee, you had second thoughts about it. Is that right?
Yeah, it was just a question about who I was going to be working with and why. And obviously, just questioning, does Brownie need to be here? But look, it's always good to see Brownie, even though we had a lot of battles in training over our time. It's good to see Brownie. Always is.
Do you know what? I often think, does he need to be here?
Well, I've only come in to watch her because undoubtedly we're going to have to watch a hat-trick again. That's his highlight, isn't it? So we've got a hat-trick to watch, or a volley at Ipswich, and then we're running short. So I can't wait for that.
I don't know, if it's about the 5th time on it, that'd be 15 goals he scored against Liverpool, wouldn't it? But we actually haven't got it today anyway. Look, you were here on... Yeah, don't walk out though, please, Liz. You were here last, was it Boxing Day?
Yeah.
The 1-1 draw against Peterborough, Dean Holden's first game as well. Have you seen much of us since?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the results recently, and we've had a tough run in terms of the teams that we've been playing against. They all seem to be in the top half of the table, or the top 6. But yeah, good 2 results last 2 games, and good to get back to winning ways and hopefully continue today.
Absolutely. Now, we have to say, before we get stuck in today, this was spotted on your Instagram. Do you know where we're going with this?
No.
And it was an emotional caption from yourself. Just talk us through this picture, who's in it and why it's so important to you.
Yeah, they're my 4 boys. My girl was there as well, but that's a picture of my 4 boys. One of them played for Brentford B team, played against Arsenal the other day. I'm an Arsenal supporter. In the quarter-finals of the Premier Youth Cup, or the 23s Cup.
Brilliant.
They won 1-0 and all the family and friends were there. So, yeah, it was a good day for him and a nice picture.
A proud dad?
Always. As
all 5, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the
I haven't seen it personally. I'll try not to do too much.
Yeah, one thing I put, my clip was that is, you shouldn't tell your kids you're proud of them, just tell them to be proud of themselves. The journey, especially my boys have been through. They've been through tough times in terms of football, and they've kept going and plugged their way through, and all 4 seem to be playing and doing well.
Brilliant. What are you shaking your head for?
It's killed my joke. I was going to make fun of it, but that's so sincere, that, isn't it? Be proud of yourselves.
Exactly.
You can't.
This is what I was going to say.
You can't follow it with a
Go on,
joke.
you might as well say it.
Well, they don't look at him in like it.
Look, I've done DNA tests. I've done DNA tests on all 4 of them. They're all mine.
Must have a good-looking wife back there. That's all I can say. A very good-looking wife.
No, brilliant. And you're absolutely right. I'm sure you are proud, but they should be proud of themselves as well, because everything comes from within, first and foremost. Brownie, but it has been quite a week for Charlton, you have to say. How much did we enjoy Tuesday's 4-1 win?
Yeah, really, a lot, because we were playing golf and we were talking around the golf course about tough fixture, weather, Morecambe are fighting for their lives, and actually we went and pulled them to pieces. It was an exceptional first half, probably one of the best first halves I've seen for a long time. Biggest away win for 2 years. And I don't think we saw that coming, really. And it was much needed, Scotty. We were not playing well, we weren't picking up results, and that just gives us that breathing space we were all talking about. Gives us a great chance today to go and get another win, 6 points on the trot, and then you can start doing maybe what Curbs is talking about, which is just experimenting a little bit and playing 1 or 2 players that are on the fringes, or players that you want to have a really good look at for next year. So Again, this is another one I expect us to win. More so, actually, than Tuesday night. You know, I wasn't thinking we were going to win 4-1 Tuesday night, but today I look at their stats, bang in trouble, and I do expect us to go and get a result today.
Don't say that. You know what's going to happen now.
I know.
What's the matter with you? A few of our younger players start on Tuesday, Liz, and as a former graduate yourself, and we all are here, aren't we, at Charlton. How pleasing is it for you to see the lads coming through the youth team and getting first-team football?
Yeah, I was speaking to Brownie about a couple of the boys that are in the team now and doing well, and will they be consistent players? I think that's important, that they don't come in for a season or two and then end up drifting off or going down divisions. So by the looks of these boys here, hopefully they're going to have bright futures and hopefully play higher with Charlton or without. But as you said, this club's produced players years and years. The youth setup here is unbelievable. And I...
3 say it, Kev.
Yeah, well, that's what I just said.
I said that. He said that.
Sorry. Listen, I zone out. I zone out.
Someone's talking, you have to listen, baby.
Exactly. He has 80% of the talking anyway. He can't even listen to the other 20%.
He just switched
Do you know what? I was looking for their team. I was thinking, right, he's going to move on to their team next. I was going for their team in the end.
Oh, gosh.
I was going to ask Brownie another question, but I'm going to chuck it back to you again, Liz, and he could just go to sleep for whatever. I mean, what advice would you give? I mean, any youngsters really, but especially when you know Charlton here. Obviously, Charlton were high up when we all came through the ranks. So technically it should be easier, but actually third-tier football isn't easy, is it? So what advice would you give to the young lads coming through now?
I think training's really important. I think how you treat yourself off the pitch is important. The people that you hang around with is important. Your mindset is all the things I tell my boys, and I think they've got to train like they want to play higher divisions, and they've got to go at each game. I know there's not a lot on it this season, but that drive to win games has to be there, and you never know who's watching. And as I said before, you're hoping to play as high as you can for as long as you can.
One particular player that we actually touched on just a few minutes ago off air was Tyrese Campbell as well. Nice to see him getting minutes on the pitch as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I think I alluded to it Tuesday night. It's a feeder season for him, coming in, coming out. And when it's like that for you as a youngster, you really have to grab the opportunities you get. And I think he's done that. You know, he scored his first senior goal. He set one up the other night. He's dangerous when he's in possession of the ball in the final third. He's got a little turn of pace from a standstill start, which is always dangerous to have. You know, you get that defender stopped and you go again. It's hard for a defender to get off the mark. And he does that very, very well. So I think there's a lot more to come from Tyrese. I really do. And I think if you know, we can introduce him, say, 10, 15, 20 games next year, suddenly we're going to see him, I think, stretch out the year after that. But he's made an impact, which is what you need to do.
It'll be interesting to see them when they play next year and with a little bit something on it and trying to maybe win the league. Can they step up and keep producing then?
I love your positivity. See, he's always glass half full, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a...
You have a pop at me today as well.
No, well, you're over the top sometimes.
I'm over the top.
Oh, you are. Do you remember that day we were 3 points from relegation and about 320 from 6th, and he went 14 points from 6th. I went, we're free off the relegation zone.
Anything over double figures, I'm kind of half joking. You should know me by now.
That would even take Brownie, that positivity in it.
Oh, honestly.
The thing is, Liz,
sitting like that.
while there's still a chance, my mentality is I'm looking up. What I should be aiming for.
I think the players should be as well. Absolutely. I think the manager and the aim is to finish as high as possible.
Absolutely, but yeah.
That is the aim now.
This season, I stopped saying it about mid-February, but you know, that in itself tells a story, doesn't it? OK, kick-off less than 45 minutes away. Let's hear from the gaffer, Dean Holden, now, who spoke as he arrived at the stadium. He spoke to Charlton TV's Greg Stubley.
Dean, one change to the starting 11 today. Corey Blackett-Taylor missing out, Jezren Raksaki coming in. Given Corey had that injury during the week, I assume that's an enforced change with him missing completely from the squad.
Yeah, unfortunately we're going to miss Corey now for a period, probably 6 to 8 weeks. Unfortunately he's picked up an hamstring injury. It's a huge blow for us. Obviously he's got good numbers this season in terms of goals scored, chances created, so you know, not just that, his threat down that left-hand side, his pace is a big thing for the team, so you know he's going to be a big miss, but at the same time, next man in, and Tyrese Campbell has proved, certainly in the Barnsley game I remember when he scored, and the other night I thought he was exceptional, so he's now got a good opportunity, and the key thing for him, and that was the message to the team, is that he's been training really well. You know, this is not caught him cold, so he's ready to come in, and I'm really excited about Tyrese, really can't wait to see him play.
I think that's the same for the fans as well with Tyrese. We've seen him develop more and more as the season goes on. What are you looking for him between now and the end of the season with Corey missing?
Just for him to go show what he's all about. He does, as I say, he does it in training every day. He can go both ways. He's got a great strike on him. He's got good pace, and he's a strong little. He's a warrior type. He's game and he puts his body in. He's a good user of his body in tight areas. So, no, he's a really good footballer as well as having that pace. So, just want him to go and really embrace the situation, and go and show what it means to him to play for this football club.
A couple of changes to the bench as well. Gavin Kilkenny coming in with Corey missing out, and Stephen Sessegnon returning as well. That must be a massive boost to you to have Sess available, especially after his goal last weekend as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Terrell was very strong the other night in a game where he's not played for a long time and deserves his opportunity to go again. Sess coming back in is a big plus for us because he can cover for both sides, so that's why he replaces Manny Egbo on the bench today. And obviously, if we need Sess to come into the game, you know, he's ready now. He's unfortunately suffering from this sort of ongoing niggle that he's had, but we've managed that over through the week, and yeah, it's a timely addition.
In terms of today, Cambridge obviously fighting down there the relegation zone. What are you expecting from them today?
Well, they've been playing with a back three. They've got some good experience in that back three as well to go alongside Morrison and Bennett. Obviously, Connor can't play. They asked the question. But no, they're a decent team, you know, in terms of the way that they play. They get the ball forward, they've got strikers up there who'll give you problems. So we've got to maintain our performance levels from the other night. It's really simple for us. We've got to go again. We've got to make sure our mindset's right because, you know, the pitch looks good actually. I'm really pleased. It looks a good pitch again. It'll be a good atmosphere in here today. We're bringing 1,500, I believe, behind this goal, which will be great for the lads. I'm just making sure I don't get by one of the balls on this little game going on over here at the moment. But no, we're looking forward to it.
A final question before you do get hit by one of those balls. You mentioned the crowd here is a sellout away support. Just how excited are you to be hearing that support throughout today?
We seem to be saying it week after week, don't we? It just shows what these guys are all about, the way that they support this football club through thick and thin, and they've not had enough things to celebrate recently. So, you know, it's up to us to give them a good day out today. There's a good number travelling, as you say. Let's make sure we send them back down, or we're going back up. We've got to work out where. I'm normally coming down to Cambridge. We've got to get used to it. So send them back down to London with a positive day.
Well, Dean, thanks for your time. Best of luck today.
Well, when you've been used to living up north and you're from Manchester, I suppose it normally always is going down. But yeah, for us, it is going a little bit north anyway. And look, Corey out. We'll come on to that in just a second because that is a blow, pretty much out for the season. But it is a great opportunity for Tyrese Brown, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, because I think, I don't know, you guys got your first opportunity. Mine was through an injury to a player in the side. And although you don't want to get it that way, you get an opportunity. It's in your desire to keep that shirt with the performances you put in. And there's that half a door that's just open. You've got to step through it. You know, he's got an opportunity now, as much as Corey Blackett-Taylor is a blow, for him individually and for the team. It does open that door for Tyrese to step into, and with some good performances, who knows if by the start of next season he'd be in front of Corey. It would be a tough ask for him, but you can do it for sure.
Let's have a look at the team in full then. It is just the one change with Jez coming in for Corey, and it is a blow that Corey's out. But I have to say, Liz, you know, it's a great opportunity for both. It's still both wide players. They're quick, they've got talent. And as a striker yourself, how important were the wide players in your sides?
Yeah, obviously when we played, we had two out-and-out wingers. So for me, I like to get headers and getting in between defenders. So really important that we had two people on the wings who could carry the ball and bring it up the field. And I think looking at those two there, I think you could actually leave them, and especially as an attacker, striker. I'm looking at Miles, you sort of leave them, isolate them with their right back or left backs, and get yourself in the box and hopefully get an easy goal.
Is it as set aside as could possibly be, Brownie?
Is it sorry settled? Yeah. I think it's starting to pick itself a little bit in that respect. I mean, obviously he makes changes based on the injuries we get at the moment, rather than consistent performances, and that's kind of been the tale of the tape for the season. You know, there has been no consistency. One, because the results haven't been there, and two, because every time we start to hit a little bit of form and it looks like a settled side, we get 2 or 3 injuries. Yeah. It's been a very patchy year in regards to that. My worry about, and Kevin makes a great point about the wide players and Miles, I'm looking at that midfield three. We absolutely need Fraser to be bursting in to that box to add numbers to it. Yeah. LB can, and obviously George will sit, but it's important one of them gets in to make the numbers up and the opposite wide player comes in if his mate's taking on a fullback, because You know, I think that's somewhere where we struggle. You can't just rely on Miles to lose 2 defenders or 3 in this case. They've got a back 3. So we've got to get numbers into that penalty box when we are breaking down the wide areas. But yeah, that for me, I think in terms of experience as well. If you look at that back 4, that is an experienced back 4. Dobson now, you can consider with the amount of games he's played, is a more experienced player. Fraser as well. And then we've got that youth and exuberance in front. So for me, that was quite key the other night, I think. You know, in terms of how they performed, was they got 4 players in that back line are very, very experienced.
OK, let's look at the league table, shall we? And delighted to say we can look at the top half, because Tuesday's victory at Morecambe saw us rise 4 places to 12th. Another victory today could see us climb 1 more place. Peterborough rose to 8th with a 5-2 win at Burton midweek, with Shrewsbury dropping to 9th. And I mean, Liz, one of your former teams, Ipswich, they're right in there, aren't they? Excellent form. Do you think they can get in there? Do you think they can make that automatic promotion spot?
It's difficult. I've seen a few of Plymouth's games. They've been on telly a few times, and Plymouth look like they've got a good balance, as Brownie said. They've got some good youngsters and senior pros in there. So I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's doable. You look at Derby, so Derby are on a good run. I just feel the 2 at the top will probably nick it, I think, at the end.
That's a brave call.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I tell you why. No, it is. It's a serious note. That's not a joke, because Plymouth were flying, Kevin. We were saying, weren't we? Every week we were saying they've done so well, because about January, February last year they started to tail off.
Yeah.
And they've dug in there this year.
Yeah.
And Ipswich had a massive wobble and were miles away, and they've just suddenly started galloping on the inside. Wow, and they're coming back, Ipswich. And I wouldn't even rule out Barnsley, because they're on a serious run of form. So it's actually tight, and I was quite confident before, like you were,
so was that,
you know, like that. And now I'm not so confident at all about who's going to nick that second spot.
You were confident until you started talking. Now.
Actually, I changed my mind now.
No,
I tell you what, I look at Plymouth and I think all their home games, I don't think anyone wants to go there.
Got very strong home.
Yeah, and I look at
strong.
Ipswich, and Ipswich is a nice pitch, it's a nice stadium. I think most teams will enjoy going there. I think if you go to Plymouth, I think you've got to be on it. If you're not on it, you lose those games.
Yeah, it's a trek just getting there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the bottom half then, because it is very tight. Just below us in mid-table, Lincoln, Bristol Rovers, Port Vale and Fleetwood were the teams we leapfrogged, while Morecambe dropped below MK Dons on goal difference. And Liz, look, I mean, of course we want to be looking up. I'm not going to mention the words playoffs and attach them to Charlton. Brownie would just give me a kick.
Yeah, you'd have a heart attack.
Exactly. But it is important for us to keep on winning, because there's a lot of teams that are below us, and you know, a bad week and suddenly we could be 16th, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think it's a sense of pride as well. I think you asked Brownie, yourself, we don't like losing 5-a-side games. I used to lose 5-a-side games, it's so cool day after. So I think this is a good experience for them. Obviously, we're not going to get promoted, and I don't think we're going to get relegated. So it's about now seeing the characters of the players and who wants to win and who you can take on to next season, who's going to give you a chance. And I think it's just a matter of pride now and not looking at the table too much.
And Cambridge need a win, don't they, being where they are? OK, let's take a look at the League One fixtures today, shall we? Leaders Sheffield Wednesday drew 1-1 with Bolton last night. That was a good point for Bolton, that you have to say. Peterborough have just gone 2-0 up away at Lincoln City, so that would be a very good win if they can hold out there. It's a big game at the bottom of the table, where if MK Dons can win at Accrington, they will get out of the drop zone and put Accrington in it. Fifth place Derby play Fleetwood. Ipswich would be hoping that they end the day in automatic promotion places. We just saw the top half of the table. If they beat Shrewsbury and Plymouth don't beat Forest Green, then that will happen, although you have to say it's slightly unlikely with Forest Green being rock bottom. And the game at the bottom, an interesting one as well. Wycombe, just outside the playoffs, play 4th place Barnsley, who we just talked about, possibly chasing down an automatic promotion place. And Brownie, look, so we're getting to the stage of the season where there's some really good games in there with a lot riding on them. Yeah,
well, that bottom one is interesting, because I think that kind of finishes Wycombe off, actually, if Barnsley were to win that one. So it's a must-win for Wycombe. But I quite like the 2 relegation games today, Accrington, MK, and I think Morecambe-Oxford as well. I mean, if Morecambe beat Oxford, they're the same points. Yeah. That's how bad Oxford's season sort of tailed off. So those 2 are massive games. I think that Lincoln City-Peterborough one, you might correct me if I'm wrong here, I think that'll be Lincoln's first home loss. We were talking about this the other week. They've drawn like 12 or 13, 14 games or something ridiculous at home. So that's a massive win for Peterborough to keep their playoff ambitions alive as well. And they're very much hit or miss, haven't they?
And absolutely. And Liz, with 10 games to go for most of the League One side, we really are getting into the business end, squeaky bum time, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what they call it. I'm looking at those fixtures now. I expect all the teams in that top half of the table to get results today. I don't think there's many top duels that in these fixtures. So I expect most of the teams in the top half to get their 3 points and kick on.
Yeah, that Ipswich game as well. I mean, Shrewsbury are hard to beat,
Yeah.
and you've got Plymouth, and we just talked about Plymouth
You
being
said
cool.
Ipswich you said Ipswich
Well,
just a minute ago.
that's a tough one.
Well, then if
Shrewsbury's
Plymouth win,
tough.
then they're going to be 5 points
Plymouth
then.
will win today. They have to win today. Ipswich. The point is, here we go. Right. The point is,
So you're with me now, you're Plymouth.
No, I'm not with you. I think Ipswich will catch them, but that is a big game because Forest Green are pretty much down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finished? And breathe. You can breathe for the next couple of minutes. Should we get to club news updates now, shall we? And as always, we'll start with ticketing news. We have got one more home match to come in March, which is against Wycombe, Saturday the 25th, and tickets are on sale for that fixture right now. April, a very busy month at the Valley, with games against Shrewsbury, Burton, Morecambe and Port Vale. Tickets for all of those matches can also be purchased by visiting booking.cafc.co.uk. Well, the club were delighted to host London Venture Crawl this week, which, courtesy of our partnership with the University of Greenwich, saw students from 13 universities visit the Valley for a tour and a Q&A with senior staff. And we do hope every single one of you enjoyed your visits. Well, next week at the Valley, it is the club's annual Academy and Valley Gold Day. The players in the club's academy will be going around the pitch at half-time, and there'll be plenty of activity in the build-up to the game to highlight the excellent work done by all in the academy and also the vital support the club gets from Valley Gold. And Brown, it's always nice to see the youngsters enjoying themselves, isn't it? But also gives them a taste of what they can aspire to.
Absolutely. We've said this many times about Valley Gold. It's a valuable asset to the football club. It started many years ago, late 80s, and has been vital actually in the academy, bringing through players. And then you've got Jason Morgan with the Community Trust. You know, don't undervalue that either. We're very good in that respect as a football club on both fronts.
I think we absolutely superb on both fronts as a football club, so well done to everybody involved there. OK, loan news now, and academy youngster Sam Oguntoyo has joined Eastbourne Borough on loan until the end of the season. The 20-year-old joins an Eastbourne side who currently sit 11th in the National League South table, 5 points adrift of the playoff places, and everyone would like to wish Sam the best of luck during his time at Priory Lane. And Liz, question to you, how valuable was your first loan to Gillingham back in, what was it, 1999?
Yes, thanks for that.
Wow.
Yeah, around about that.
I'm a lot older than you, mate. Don't worry about that.
I often speak about what that did for me going to Gillingham, and I remember stepping into the change room and training. We had Heston Tyler there, Carla Sabra, and I remember training and thinking, actually, they were actually good players. Although I was in a Premiership club, you sort of have this impression that you're going to go down there and absolutely terrorise everyone, but they were really good players, and I just felt to myself, if I don't produce and I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I could actually be in League Two, even at my age, because there were boys there my age that were good players. So I think it was a massive wake-up call for me, and it sort of made me a man really quickly, and I went back to Charlton and I got my head down.
Absolutely. Scotty Parker, or Kirk says the same about Scotty at Norwich, doesn't he? So Sam, all the very best at Eastbourne Borough. OK, with the train strikes still taking place on a regular basis, all supporters are reminded they can still take advantage of the club's Valley Express coach service. That's what Brownie did to me today. I had to take him in, Liz, you know that?
That doesn't surprise me.
He came round my house, had to pick him in, honestly.
$12.50, you Liz.
Yeah?
Unbelievable.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he doesn't pay that. He's made me pay it. No, I've got away with it. The Valley Express, which transports supporters to and from the Valley from various locations across the South East, can be booked by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk, and places are priced at just £11 each. OK, we're moving on now, and Dean Holden and the team had some very special guests down at Sparrows Lane a little bit earlier this week. Let's take a look.
Got to meet two of the Upbeats at the training ground today, and if you didn't have a smile on your face before you met them, I'm sure you did straight afterwards. How was that?
Amazing. Danny and Perry came in. Danny's Jack Payne sort of organised it, a good pal of his, and
yeah, they watched training. They got the boots on. Danny put my boots on, and he's managed to take them away with him, which is nice. And we had a penalty shootout at the end. The lads were great with him. Obviously, we had some photographs and they had a lot of selfies and whatever else. But you see that you're right about the smile. You see the smile on you just see what it means. One of them, Perry, said it was the best day of his life. I mean, I tell you what, I've got to be careful. I'll have a tear in my eye, but it shows you the power that we've got as you know, we're lucky enough to be in this game, and how you can affect people's lives. It's yeah, it was a nice touch that, and they're coming to the game. They've got a game against Everton on the pitch at the Valley before we play Port Vale, so we'll be right behind them supporting them.
Yeah, April 29th is the Upbeats walk and the Upbeats day at the Valley, so obviously we want fans to get on board with that and make it a special day. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's a day coming up next Tuesday for the guys as well to support, and we'll get right behind. So yeah, we'll Down Syndrome Day, I think it is, so we'll be right behind them.
Yeah, rightly so, as we are too as well. Promises to be a fantastic day, doesn't it? Sign-ups for this year's walk are now open, so we encourage fans and supporters to register to secure your place and encourage family and friends to join you too. The Charlton Upbeats, for those of you who don't know, is a programme for children and adults with Down syndrome, which offers the players a safe and welcoming environment to play football, make friends and get involved in competitions. It is CAC's only programme which is entirely funded by donations from the public, so we need the help of as many addicts and CAC supporters as possible. I mean, look, what a lovely video, chaps. Huh? It shows the power. Again, we talk about what CAC can do. Yeah. That's just another one, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I mean, the more able-bodied ex-players will walk alongside that. I mean, I know Maltz has in the past and Webbo has, and I'm sure there'll be another few ex-players in that one walking alongside to raise money. But yeah, it's a side of the football club that we do very, very well. It's won numerous awards, and yeah, people will get behind that. And there will be money donated, because there always is, always. It's a great cause.
It looked like a great day there as well, didn't it? The kids really enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, most importantly, the players looked like they invested in the day, and it looked quite humbling. And I think sometimes we need that as professional footballers to be humbled a little bit and appreciate what we have. And I think, as Brownie said, this club, since I've been here, are really good at things like that, and long may it continue.
Yeah, sometimes we live in a bubble, don't we, or certainly as a player, and you don't quite realise almost the outside world. I know that sounds bad, but actually that sometimes can happen, so it's fantastic the club do. The Upbeats Walk, sponsored by DNEL, is set for Saturday, April the 29th. You said the able-bodied people. Are you saying that's not you then, with your knees? Can you not?
Not unless I've got a stick and a ball to hit into a hole. Because I know someone's going to criticise me. Oh, we play golf, though, don't you?
Well, yeah. He does play golf, but by the end...
Honestly,
honestly, by the 15th, 16th, he's hobbling.
But you still go, and you're still going to push through. Yeah. Look at your face.
it's you know what? It's
just changed my putting grip this week, Kev.
It's a 9-mile walk, but Liz could probably run it, couldn't he?
No,
yeah, I mean, look how fit. I mean,
no chance. No.
You do still look fit, Geese.
Over 5 yards, I'm brilliant.
Although that strike weren't the best.
No, I'm still feeling the effects.
I heard about that.
I'm still feeling the effects of that, my knee as well, yeah. You got to warm up. I am 44, I've got to warm up. There has to be a 45-minute warm-up.
But were you having yourself beforehand? That's the question.
Yeah, the kit looked good on me, that's why.
Okay. Got a bit carried away.
I went down there and looked good, and I actually thought I was a player again. And then I kicked the ball, and then
Your body told you no, you're not.
Exactly.
I know you mean about the warm-up anyway. Okay, let's move on. Last week we got the good news that Ashley Maynard-Brewer signed a 3-year contract with the club, and he sat down with Charlton TV on Thursday. Let's take a look right now.
Ash, congratulations. How does it feel to have signed a new 3-year contract with the club?
Yeah, really exciting. I've really enjoyed the last few months being involved and playing games. So, yeah, to get locked in for the next few seasons is really exciting.
Your dad has been over from Australia watching you play. How proud are your family about the news?
Yeah, really proud. He came over to watch the Sheffield Wednesday game, and that was the first game he's seen since Australia, actually. So for him to watch that in front of the Valley crowd was obviously a great moment for him.
You've had an incredible 2022-23 season, which started with what looked like a season-long loan at Gillingham, has included penalty heroics against Brighton, an appearance at Old Trafford, and now this. What has it been like on that journey?
Yeah, up and down. So start of the season, got shipped out to Gillingham, The goal was always to play games at Charlton, but that would give me a good opportunity to play games. Unfortunately, 2 weeks in, popped my shoulder out, so that was a bit of a setback. And yeah, got back from that, and a few injuries, found myself in the team, and since then continued to play games, and yeah, been loving it.
Your Charlton journey actually began at the age of 16. A lot of Charlton players and staff have contributed to you getting to where you are now. How grateful are you for their support?
Yeah, very grateful. Moved over at 16, and yeah, there's been so many people involved at the club, like Joe Francis, Steve Avery, who've helped me settle in. And helped me make that adjustment coming from a foreign country, and that's just the stuff away from football. At the football ground, it's been loads of people, coaches, backroom staff who've helped me get to this position and progress through the academy.
On your journey, there's also been plenty of support from the Charlton fans through match days and Valley Gold. How grateful are you for their contribution? Yeah,
super important. Even before I got in the team and started playing games, there's been loads of supporters that I've met along the way who you can tell how much Charlton means to them. So to be playing games and be in a position to help the team has been great, and their support is greatly appreciated.
Since Dean Holden has come in, you've been a mainstay in the team. How have you found working with Dean?
Yeah, great. He's I'm really grateful for the opportunity that he's given me. Since he's come in, he's been great communicating with us. Obviously with the stuff on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And the team's really responded to what he's had to say and the way he's gone about it.
You've signed a 3-year contract with the club. What are your goals over that period?
Just to continue playing games, progressing, improve my game, and trying to contribute as much as possible to the success of Charlton.
Having an argument about goalkeepers here between you two. It's great to hear from Ashley there, and really positive news. He's signed a new contract, and he's made a real impact, hasn't he, since coming? Jojo's having to sit on the bench at the moment.
Absolutely, and this is what we were talking about earlier. You know, doors half open, you've got to step through it, and Ashley has absolutely stepped through it. And you questioned me the other day. No, you didn't, but Curve said about possession is 9/10 of the law, and it is. He's got the shirt; it's his to lose. Yeah. And Jojo's got to sit there and be patient for a little bit. He'll hate every minute of it because he was having a good season himself up until the injury. But that's what I was saying earlier. That's how I got my opportunity. I got inside through someone's injury, and I made it hard for Curbs. For a little while, anyway. To stay.
I was going to say that. What long though was it?
For about a month or so, I made it really difficult for him to drop me, and then he found an excuse and dropped me anyway. Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. He's walked through the door and he's made the shirt his own. He's
in Punta Cana and he can't even answer back to that one, can he? Look, I mean, Liz, we were just discussing actually off air as we were watching and listening to Ash as well. 23 as an outfield player, you need to be playing first team football, but 23 as a goalkeeper is a bit different, isn't it? But it's young, but it's great if you are playing first team.
Definitely. I mean, as I was just saying to Brian, I'm really surprised that he's got this place and he's kept his place, and I think the manager could have changed keepers at any point just because of age. I feel like they need that experience, but as you say, he's come in, he's done well, he's got the place, and long may it continue. But yeah, 23 as a goalkeeper to be playing consistency, I think that he's done really well.
Here's a question for you: who was the best goalkeeper you played with, and who was a goalkeeper that you just thought, oh no, I've got a one-on-one, he looks too big?
Oh, he's killed you there.
I'm not answering that second one.
Well, the answer might be no, it never happened to me. I always thought I could score.
Never happened. I played with Dino for a long while, and Mr. Consistent Dino was, and he set up my third goal for Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Of course he didn't bowl it out. Let me get hold of it. You picked it up in your own half.
Can we get that hat, please? No, we can't get it.
It must be somewhere.
Try and if you stay behind till 8 o'clock tonight, we'll find it for you. It won't be on
no, Dino was, Brandon will tell you,
I agree. 100%.
He was so consistent in what he did, and I don't think he missed a game since I was there, so I'd have to say Dino.
You go along with that?
Yeah, we had some good ones as well. Petters, who was on last week, Player of the Year, couldn't wait to tell us that. Mickey Salmon as well behind that. I thought Mick was consistent as well, but Dino was the best one.
Sasha was good at time.
I thought you were going to say was the one who you were going to say didn't want behind her.
No. Sasha, I mean, One-on-one, he made it his really big session. He always put himself about in training, but as I say, for consistency, I'd have to go with Dino.
Are you not going to give me an opposition goalkeeper?
Nah.
Not one?
Nah.
Schmeichel?
Schmeichel's you got... Yeah, Schmeichel...
You're just chucking out names now, aren't you? Big names.
Yeah, I wasn't close enough to any keeper in the Premiership. I was always out the wing. In my era, you had so many... I played against Seaman as well. You had so many good keepers. It's hard to pick one. David James.
Nigel Martin, I used to really think was a top keeper.
Yeah.
Top keeper.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. But Seaman I would have gone for as well, yeah.
David James, although
well.
he made a lot of mistakes, he made some good saves as well. So, yeah.
So Director Robin May here has just said, Brownie, you're not mentioning yourself.
I was the best outfielder to go and goal, without any shadow of a doubt. They say, Keith
you-
Peacock keeps telling every time he sees me, Jagielka was better than you. It's like, oh, cheers, Keith. Another dagger out the heart.
Truth hurts, mate, doesn't it?
Look, Brownie was okay. He was okay. He was capable in goal. I think that's where we're going with that.
Do you want the bad news about Keith today?
Go on then.
He's judging our gear, and I've had a text saying you're third.
I'm third.
Yeah.
Look, if Keith says I'm third, that means I'm first.
He said you're third. He said I've come in joint first with Scotty today.
Listen, if Keith doesn't like my gear, I'm okay.
I had a good chat with Keith, as I normally do on a Saturday morning, and he did mention that he kind of marks us out of 10 each particular week for the clubber.
Thanks for that, Keith.
Let's move swiftly on now, shall we? Let's look back at that Morecambe game, because sometimes we look back at games and we're like, oh God, we've got to go through another defeat. But this was as comprehensive as it come, Brownie.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it doesn't matter how this gets here. This is exceptional. That could have gone anywhere, but this is a wonderful finish. Back to goal, first touch away from yourself so you can swivel and get that volley, and then to get your foot over the top of it and drive it past the keeper. It's an exceptional goal. And that sets us on our way. I think once we got our noses in front, you could feel a second and third coming, to be honest. But it was good that Ryan Innes got that header there. We said he's a threat in both boxes. Defensively he's great for us, but that was a good header as well. So, and this is what we're talking about, that Tyrese Campbell. Gets the defender stood still, bang, half a yard delivery. Good to see Corey run.
And I think that's what you were saying earlier about people getting in the box once these wingers get the ball. And as you can see there, you've got 4 people in the box, and you're always going to score goals.
Just on Miles, obviously we know the Lee Burns. I was out at Carl on Thursday, actually, as a sort of Charlton youth team thing. Miles' 8th goal of the season. He's been injured, of course, and so it's his first for a few games. How have you seen his development?
To score 8 goals in this league and be injured for as long as he was, I think is a really good return. And I think more importantly, he brings a lot to the team. The way he holds the ball up, he's clinical in front of goal. And I think for a young boy, he makes really good decisions in that final third. And he's only going to get better. So for me personally, if he gets 10 goals this season with the injury he's had, I think that's a really good season for him.
Did you see him being this impactful? Because I didn't at the start of the season. It's an 18-year-old kid who hasn't played first-team football, just about to sign a new contract. If we can get him bits and bobs, then great. But he's almost our biggest asset now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, as I said before, I've trained Miles as well. I've done some finishing with him, and his first touch is on point every single time, and he's really composed in front of goal. And I think he's about 6'8" now. So
still growing, isn't he?
Yeah, and he moves really well with it as well. So I think, listen, as long as he keeps fit, hopefully this is the season where he gets his injury and he pushes on next season. But I think to get 10 goals with the injury he's had is a really good season for him.
And talking about goals in midfield as well, Scott Frazier now 6.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see him kick on as well, wouldn't it? And we've sort of nitpicked with him because we think he's a talent and he's very good going forwards. If he can get that little bit better sort of as a defensive side of it, while adding goals to it, then he becomes a championship player, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's definitely got the skill set for it. I would say consistency is the biggest one with Scott. He has hot patches and then he goes cold. And if he's not in a game, then you're carrying him a little bit. So he needs to get in that final third. That goal that we've just seen there, the 4th goal, was an exceptional goal, and it was pretty much all on him. He knew exactly what he wanted to do when the ball arrived at his feet, and it was a great give and go and super control and composure to finish. He is one player that can impact a game when he's on top of the game. It's when he's not in the game, I want him to be more of a leader. He can get himself back into a game more than he does. I've got no complaints when he's in the game. He's creative and he can score.
OK, just a few minutes away from kick-off. The lads will be coming out pretty soon. Let's remind ourselves of the teams, both teams now, shall we actually? Just the one change for us, of course, that's with Corey. We haven't really touched on that. How big a blow is that? He's out for the season now.
Yeah, I think all three of us will agree. When you have an injury, it's the hardest time of your career. To be honest with you, I had almost a 2-yearer, and luckily for me, it was at the beginning, so I didn't really know any better. If that had come at the end, it would have been horrific, because there's nothing worse than trudging back into that physio room and doing that work on your own, and it's a hard slog. And he's had a couple of injuries now, Corey, and it can really affect you mentally. You know, seeing everybody go out to train while you're trudging back into that physio room is not nice.
No, it's not the same at all. In terms of Cambridge, though, I mean, look, they do need the points. They've picked up just 1 point from the last 5 league games. They've scored just 1 goal in that time as well. What are we expecting from them? Do you think this could be a similar game to Morecambe?
Me personally, I think every League One game, you have to be on it. There's no certainties. As you said before, Brownie said you probably expected us to win this one and not probably last week. That would have been a lot harder. And I think depending on how we start the game is going to determine how this game goes. And I think if we use the game that we've just played and use that as momentum, I think we can go and win this game easy. But I think you've got to do the hard work first in order to break teams down in this division.
Yeah, how much confidence will Tuesday's game give us coming into this particular one?
Yeah, well, it should give us confidence, but you have to earn the right to win every game, and we earned the right Tuesday, so I hope we don't just turn up here, look at the stats and think, well, you know, if we do something similar to Tuesday, we'll win. Ipswich went up here the other week, and you would have expected Ipswich to win, and Cambridge missed a penalty and drew 1-1, so they could have comfortably lost that game. But all the stats point towards us, you know, winning this one, but you have to earn the right. Kev's right, you get up there, you stay disciplined, you have a structure, and you work your socks off first and foremost, win the majority of seconds, win the majority of the individual battles, and that should get you on top of the opponents, which then gets you, again, vitally, if we can get our nose in front, I think we're going and win this one as well, with a couple of goals.
When you would play a team that's struggling and they're at home, do you look to try and turn the crowd pretty quickly, or was it literally just for you, just do my thing, and then see what happens?
Me personally, I think you do your jobs. I think you concentrate on the job. The managers set a certain pattern of how you want you to play, and I think you need possessions in the opposition's half. I think you get touches in their half. I think you try and keep them. You try and keep them in their half, and you get some shots off. And as you say, with that, I think the crowd sort of goes quiet, and then you sort of feel that as a player, and you sort of go for their throats. Then, not literally.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've not done well enough this year, Scotty, as a football club, is clean sheets, and we've struggled against the sides in the lower half. And I dearly love this side to go out and have that clean sheet mentality today, because there's goals in it. We will score a goal today. I'm pretty convinced of that. But I'd love to see us keep a clean sheet and not make that little mistake we made the other night that let Morecambe get on the score. I'd have been so annoyed if I was in a back line the other night. Yeah. You know, I pride myself on a clean sheet, making a block, making that challenge, your goalkeeper tipping one around the post, clean sheet, brilliant, well done, because that breeds confidence amongst the whole side.
Yeah, I don't think he makes that at 1-0, but he shouldn't make that at any time of the game, Ryan Innes. But you know, we got the win, and that's the important thing. As you can see, both captains coming out in ear defenders and with a mascot and ear defenders as well. That's part of Cambridge's level playing field match day. So well done to them for doing that. And it looks like all the young mascots are really enjoying themselves, although they might be a little bit cold. It's still cold at the moment, isn't it?
Despite it being in goal.
Yeah, despite it being mid-March, but that's absolutely wonderful, it really is. Final one to you then, Liz. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think it'll be a win. As I said, I think if we start on the front foot, and as Brownie say, we have that defensive mentality as well, that we are going to keep a clean sheet, I think we win this 2 or 3.
OK, let's hope we do. Let's hope we make it back-to-back victories, back-to-back away victories as well. And we keep on trying to climb up the table. We can certainly, if things go well for us today, move up another place. OK, time to hand over to this afternoon's commentary team. Greg Stubley and next week's studio guest, Dan Sender. Dan, hope you're well.
How are you guys? Very well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Abbey Stadium. And yes, delighted to say alongside me in the absence of Mr. Terry Smith, we've got Danny Sender. Dan, welcome. And yeah, looking forward to today. What's your expectations from Charlton to build on, hopefully, from Tuesday night?
Listen, it's a fantastic first result, first and foremost, going up to Morecambe, which is not an easy place to go at any time. A team that are fighting for their lives, and we come to another team that are really in that period of the season, which the guys in the studio were alluding to earlier. It is that time of the season, both ends of the table, where every point, every goal matters now. So for us, it's about seeing whether we can put some consistency together and seeing whether we can take that into the remainder of the season. But it is going to be a tall task for us against a Cambridge side that are going to fight for every point they can get now.
And you had the pleasure of spending a little bit of time with the group this morning. What the key, I don't expect you to say everything, but what the key sort of tones that came out of that meeting with Dean Holden and the players?
Yeah, it's about, I heard Brownie in the studio saying it's about not coming here with any level of complacency, not feeling that because we've come off the back of a good performance at Morecambe that we've got some given right because of the stature of our crest, that we can come here and get 3 points. So it's about making sure that we compete, making sure that we stay focused, and we're wary of all of the many threats that Cambridge can pose us today.
And just because you're in the studio next week, you don't always have to be so nice with to Brownie. I just say he's got the warmth and the food, I hear, is on the way as well, so he'll be a happy man. But yep, we are about to get kicking off here at Abbey Stadium. It'll be Cambridge to get the game underway. They're shooting towards the away stand, to the right as you watch, to the left as we